guidebook for the audience. This is what tells us whether we want to attend the talk, us audience members, us attendees. So what's the talk about? Who's the intended audience and what's in it for me? Why should I attend this talk when there's like a lot of really awesome talks, a lot of tracks going on? This is the meat of the proposal for reviewers, the abstract. This is not just what's it about, but gives us an idea that you've really thought this through. I remember a proposal that I saw on video imaging, and it was a really cool proposal, except it didn't mention Python anywhere in the proposal. And nobody had any idea why they were submitting it to PyCon, because there was nothing about Python packages or anything. I happen to know the person submitting the proposal, so I asked her to update the proposal to actually mention Python. If it's not obvious, please explain here how it actually belongs at PyCon. The timing. Is your topic too broad for the 30-minute slot that you've got? Is it too narrow? Is it some little thing that you could maybe, give a lightning talk on? So this is the kinds of things that reviewers are going to be looking for, and you need to address in your abstract so people understand that you've got a talk that will fit the time space you've requested. In order to show that you know how to use your time, have an outline. If you don't have an outline, they're going to ask you for one. So just put it in there to start with. A rough outline of your talk. Topic headers with appropriate timing. I'm going to do an intro for 5 minutes, and then I'm going to do point 1 for 5 minutes, point 2 for 7 minutes, and point 3 for 3 minutes, and then a conclusion, and then Q&A. We're not going to hold you to it. Nothing is written in stone. This is just so we have an idea that you actually know how long you're going to be speaking about it and what you're going to be doing with the time. The bio. We need to know that you are the right person to give this talk. The bio is where you let us know that. It's not just for the attendees. Now, and also don't assume that all the reviewers know you, because we have new reviewers come on board every year, and they don't know everyone. Even some of the famous names, not everybody is going to know them. They're not going to know you. Let us know who you are. If there's something that is relevant to your talk, but you don't really want it in the bio or you don't want it in the abstract, put it in notes to reviewers. This is where you tell people, I'm going to be away for 2 weeks, so I'll be responding to feedback after August 8th. This is where you say that I'm going to be addressing package X, Y, and Z, rather than leaving it as a surprise. I've had talks where they wanted to surprise the attendees. That's great. You can do dramatic effect, that's wonderful, but you need to not surprise the reviewers. The reviewers need to not have to guess what packages you're going to be covering, what frameworks, what modules. So if you're comparing modules, we need to know that there's more than 2. Or if there is 2, then say that so we know. Things to avoid. We do not want a sales pitch at PyCon. We are really good at recognizing them even when they try to masquerade as a talk. We're not perfect, but we're pretty darn good. So don't do a sales pitch. Typing instead of slides. And internet-required talks. Both, we want to know that you've got a backup in case we don't have internet for you. And we don't want you sitting there typing into the terminal to run something. Nobody can see it in the back. Have slides or some way to show people. Have it queued up so that you can just hit a button and there it goes. Code of conduct violations. The edginess of your talk should be related to the technology, not to the visuals on your slides. Read the code of conduct, abide by it. It's just to make it more pleasant for all of us. Case studies and proprietary products, we need to know that the audience is going to actually get something out of the talk that they can use, not just cheerleading for your product. 45-minute talks have a higher bar to jump through than other talks. If you're submitting a talk, submit a 30-minute talk. Unless you really, 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 truly need 45 minutes, and then you better have a really good outline. And yeah, you did the correct goat sacrifice at the full moon, okay? Live demos tend to bite people in the wrong way. So be real careful about any live demos, just because they can go very, very wrong. If your talk isn't accepted, please do not take it personally. It's not about you, it's the fact that we have hundreds and hundreds of talks. Luke, how many talks did we have this time to go through?
618.
618, and we have under 100 slots. We actually added a track this year because we had so many talks, but we have to narrow it down to like 1 out of 6, 1 out of 7. So if we don't take your talk, it's not because your talk sucked and you suck too. It's about we've got to balance how many Django talks, how many talks on best practices, community, all of those things. Consider doing a poster or a lightning talk or an open space. Posters are really good if it's a new technology, a new product or package that you're working on that really nobody's really played with it out in the wild and you really want to get it out there so people know about it. Use a poster, submit a poster proposal for that. If you've submitted a proposal for a talk and it didn't get accepted, you can resubmit it as a poster and you may be getting accepted for that, and then you can get the info out there, and then you can develop for the next year to do a talk. And try again next year. Maybe on this topic, or maybe on another topic, or both. More submissions are good. You can submit on 2 different topics. I did this year. One of them got accepted, one didn't. The important thing that I really want to get across to everyone here is you are our speaker pool. We want all of you to submit proposals because the more of you that submit proposals, the better the pool is for us to accept talks and to find a way to make the best program that we can make. If you don't submit a proposal, we're never going to be able to get your input. And we really want that. We really need that at PyCon to make it the best PyCon it could possibly be for everyone. So, questions. I want to hear from people who have not submitted a proposal. What are some things that have held you back? And there's a mic here. Or if you have questions, feel free to, I want to hear from people.
If you have a question, go ahead and line up behind the mic here. If you're way over here, you can come to me.
Hi, it's Shay Silverman. I had a question about how you're saying the live demos, they can bite you in the behind. I found that when I come to PyCon, I love watching the live demos the most rather than just looking at slides. Is there any way that we could, what would be the best practice for our proposal to say, I have a live demo here and this is how I can assure you that it'll work?
Okay, the best way to do that is you have a presentation that includes a live demo, but that you are going to be able to give people something worthwhile to attend the talk, even if your live demo doesn't work. So this is what it looks like, this slides or whatever, this is what it'll look like, this is how it works, this is how you do it, and here it is, right here, woohoo! But that way, if it doesn't work, they still got something out of the talk.
Thank you.
Yeah. Other questions? What's kept people from submitting talks at PyCon? I want to hear from you. Really, we have lots of time. It never crossed his mind. It's a him? Yeah. Okay. Well, I hope that it has crossed your mind now. Other question or reasons?
Well, it's not so much a reason as an encouragement, because I'm part of PyLadies, and we had people from the foundation come and just sit with us and do like proposal ideas and explain how the process worked, and that made it way more easy. I was able to encourage people, like this is very, encouraging kind of thing, and so yeah, I'm actually much more likely. I just couldn't do it this year because of logistics reasons, but yeah, next year, totally there.
Yeah. Yeah, PyLadies did do some, not just locally, but on IRC, I believe. Some great, and those aren't just for ladies. Everyone is welcome to attend those sessions. Those usually happen after the CFP opens, I believe. But feel free at your local groups, your user groups, to get together and have a brainstorming session when you get back this month for PyCon proposal ideas. That's a way of bouncing ideas off each other and saying, well, I've got this weird idea. Does anyone think this is interesting? Because that's another hump that people have to get over, is thinking, well, yeah, I could talk about that, but nobody wants to hear about that. And then somebody else hears it and, oh my God, that's the coolest thing. I really needed to know about that. Others? You've got somebody here. Yes.
One thing, I didn't know that the call for proposals was open until the last day when it was posted on Hacker News. Like, oh, today's the last day to post something to PyCon. So it was like, oh, I better figure something out. So it'd be kind of cool if that was like posted in, more places when it opens rather than just on the site.
Please, if you subscribe to Python Announce list, it's posted there. It's posted as many places as we can think of, but please get onto the list so that you can post it at other places. We encourage more people to get involved so that the more you see it,
the
more
PyCon Twitter channel.
Yeah.
I have a mischievous question.
Yes.
If anyone here is interested in reviewing talks, could you talk about the process for being part of that group?
The process for that is you email one of us, any of us, me or who is it, Jacob, or pretty much anybody. You go up to the green room and ask and say, I want to help review, and we will say, oh, hooray, here's how you sign up, and now you're a reviewer. That's how hard it is.
If you were a reviewer last year, are you still a reviewer? Do you need to reapply?
If you were a reviewer last year, an email will go out when it's time to everybody whose current pool of reviewers saying, do you want to do it again this year? And you say yes. And if we don't hear from you or you say no, then we assume you're not going to be a reviewer. But if you just want to be a reviewer, please just contact us. We'll be glad to have you. The more the merrier, really. Yes?
You said that the 45-minute duration is more competitive than 30 minutes.
Yes.
Are there certain topics or certain skill levels that are also more competitive versus easier to get into?
Not
like, is advanced
really
harder to, or is,
no.
Django hard?
If you're giving an advanced talk or an extreme talk, make sure that it's really obvious that you're qualified, that you actually know what you're doing so that you're at the level that you can give an advanced talk, but there really isn't a competition for more advanced talks versus intermediate versus novice. That's one of the lesser things that we look at. We tend to look at what the talk's about and whether and balance the topics rather than, we try and make sure there are some advanced talks And intermediate, we don't have enough intermediate talks. So that's a place where we could use more. And novice talks are always welcome. So yeah, level really doesn't matter. It's, we do have to sometimes avoid turning it into DjangoCon because we get a lot of really cool proposals based on Django, and you know, we don't want all of the talks to be on Django, even though it's a really cool thing. So.
Thanks.
Next, yeah, wait for the mic. Okay, you got the mic. Yay.
Yeah, so my question is, can you submit videos and things like that with your proposal?
Sorry, say again?
Submit videos with your proposal. So
Okay.
there's a link to a video as part of my proposal.
Yeah, videos is useful to submit with your proposal so that people can see how you are as a speaker. If you're not a known quantity, no one here has, in the reviewer pool, has ever seen you speak, it's nice to see that you can actually get up in front of a crowd and not do the deer in the headlights look and talk in a monotone. We want to see that you can actually get up and speak. You can actually present material in a coherent fashion. So, yes?
Hi. You mentioned that you needed more intermediate talks. Do you have any guidelines about where the lines are drawn between beginner?
No.
Okay.
It's, if you think it is beyond novice, you have to know something about XYZ, but you are not, it's not an advanced talk, then that sounds like an intermediate talk to me.
And when we submit a talk of a certain length, should we block out time for Q&A?
Q&A is pretty much assumed to be 5 minutes at the end of the talk if it's a 30-minute talk, and 10 minutes for a 45-minute talk. I wanted to leave a little more for us to actually have a conversation here. But yeah, we kind of assume you're going to actually do 25 minutes of presentation and 5 minutes of Q&A.
Thank you.
If you don't meet that exactly, no one's going to like come up at you and go, oh my God, you left 7.5 minutes for Q&A. But if you ended up only talking for 15 minutes of the 25, then that might not have been the best use of your time, unless it's leading a discussion kind of talk. Other questions or concerns or reasons that you might not have submitted a proposal in the past? Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for coming.